In this video, we're going to take a break from working on the thumb and add the fingers. The thumb, the size and the shape and the positioning are going to be easier to tell and easier to get to look right if we can have fingers there, so we're building the thumb relative to the finger size and the overall hand size. So that's what we're going to do in this video. Now, one thing that we're going to do, even though we do have our tool shelf that does have a cube tool in it, and we could just use that to add the fingers, we're going to create them interactively. So, just kind of a throwback to the old days, but it'll work for us. So the first thing, though, we want to do is make sure interactive creation is selected. So come down here and select it if it's not, and then come back and check. Okay, looks good. And now let's go to the top view, turn on smooth shading, wireframe on shade, and now we'll come up and create Polygon primitives cube. Get our interactive prompt here and just sort of drag it out about for the index finger, Okay, it's a little bit long. Let's make this a little shorter. Okay, that's good. Now that's 2 dimensions, but we still need some height. So let's go to the front view and smooth shade, wireframe on shade, drag up some height. And it's not exactly lined up. That's okay. We can change that pretty easy. Translate, move it down. Not the same width as the hand, but that's okay too. Okay, so there it is. Kind of basically there. Maybe it's a little too long still, but we can definitely deal with that. So now let's finally go to our tool shelf and our insert edge loop. We're going to build the knuckles. We're going to build some basic edge loops for the knuckles. Now we're going to add one here at the base, and then fingers have 2 hinge joint knuckles as opposed to a thumb that only has 1. But we're going to add these, and we're going to do them all with the insert edge loop. We're not going to do insert 1 and then offset, but we'll just add 3 inserts, try to get them all in about the same width. Now, since there's 2 of these, we're going to have to eyeball the position for the 2 joints. But let's get our first one here by the knuckle. So just a little bit. And that should be good. Okay. And now we have to kind of divide this in thirds. So add one here and one just a tiny bit away from it. And a third one, and split this area and add 3, 1, 2, and 3. That's a little far. Okay, well, that's good enough. All right, so that's what we need. So we can go to the select tool, click off the geometry, and now one thing that we're going to do is delete this face on the end. That's kind of tucked in here, so get a good look at it. Right click, go to face mode, select it, and click delete, and there we go. Okay, that's good. So the next thing I'm going to do is make the knuckles. So I'm going to go to the front view here and switch to vertex mode. And then just grab this second edge loop of vertices. And I'm going to come to the front and turn on smooth shade, wireframe on shade. I'm also going to turn on X-ray. Let's dolly in a little bit. And now we're just going to scale this in. So get our scale tool and just make it smaller. And how much? Well, who knows? This is all aesthetic. We're doing this all by eye. Okay, so now we'll come back to the front view and grab our select tool, select all of these, shift select. Okay, and now back to the side here, back to the scale tool, scale these in about the same thing, and we're actually going to have an issue here because of the pivot point on this. Let's get in closer on these, and you see they've kind of gotten out of a line, so we're going to have to scale this along the X just a little bit to even these out a bit. There we go. That's good. Okay, now one more thing. We probably should have done these on the end, so let's just grab them, go to the side, and scale those in as well. Okay, so that looks good. One finger down. Now we've got one issue with these knuckles, and that is on the bottom of the finger, the knuckle is protruding out, and that's not right. There was actually an old sci-fi movie called Westworld that there were some androids that's how you could tell that they were androids and not real people, is that the knuckles kind of looked like this. But unless we're doing that, we need to change this. So we just need to select the vertices here at the bottom, and then translate tool, translate them up. Okay, that's good. And all kinds of stuff we could do with this still. One more thing we probably should do, and that's deal with the end of the finger. So I'm going to insert an edge loop right about here, and that's good. And then click off, then go to vertex mode, select just these at the bottom, translate tool, move this up, just trying to, well, that's a little too far. Just trying to make a fingertip looking thing. Okay, back to object mode, let's select the object, go to the top view, and let's create more fingers. And we can do that using our Control-D duplicate. So Control-D, and then just drag this over, and Control-D, and once more. Okay, and now let's spend a moment here evening these out, getting them right next to each other. What we're looking for is those vertices down at the base of the fingers. We want them pretty close to touching. So there, that's good. And move these next two over. This doesn't have to be perfect. This is not going to be machined anywhere. And if you look at the fingers, they're all the same length. And most people I know don't have fingers that are all the same length. So we're going to scale these a little bit shorter, at least most of them. We can leave the second finger the longest and then just scale the first, third, and fourth fingers shorter. So to do that, I'm going to move the pivot point down to the base of the finger so that we can scale from that point, and those bases will all kind of stay in line. And if you remember, to move D pivot point, we need the D key. So click D and drag the pivot point. Okay, here's one. And let's scale it back. And then the third one. Move this back and then scale it shorter. And there's a whole big deal of, is the first or the third finger longer? And it's actually different in different people. It's not always one way or the other, but they're always about the same length. So then the fourth finger and D, and move this back and scale it in. Okay, that'll do. All right, so there's our fingers. They're about the right size, at least to begin with. We may wind up making them longer or shorter in general once we get things a little further along, but that'll do. And in the next video, we'll continue on.